So, welcome to another Age 4 video. Since we have access to the tech trees, let's go through them all each in turn. Let's start with the English, because I know them the best, and that's the easiest. They're good at defense, they have longbows, and they have a good economy, but every side has a good economy in a certain area, so I don't know why that's there. They're also easy to play, apparently. Well, if you played Age 2, they play pretty similar, so that's fair enough. Exceptional early infantry provide the English with a powerful punch backed up by reliable food production from the fields. Well, yes, they do get Age 1 man-at-arms. I don't tend to spend that long in Age 1, as you'll notice from my 1v1, but never mind. And they do get very big bonuses to the fields. So, network of castles. Protect the front line with town centres, outposts, towers, and keeps increase the attack speed of nearby units when invaders are detected. So enemy comes near, alarm bells go off, campfire symbol appears above the building, and everyone gets a bonus to their attack speed. Pretty straightforward. The Island of Agriculture. Farms are 50% less wood. They cost 37 in the game I played earlier. That's pretty cheap. And if they are built around a mill, they get an additional 15% bonus to their gathering rates, which again is pretty good. Then you get the defensive Barracks, which is about the Vanguard man-at-arms, which you get in the Dark Age, and also that the villagers get bows rather than farm implements, so they have a ranged attack, which is pretty good. Town centres also fire twice as many arrows as normal at nearby enemies, so your town centres are quite a good defensive building. So the actual bonuses, I don't know why the civilization bonuses are in the middle. I really don't. I would put that at the very end or the very top. I don't know. Anyhow, construct farms for 50% less wood. Farms near mills gather 15% faster. We know that. We know about the Vanguard man-at-arms that's available in the Dark Age. Stronger villagers who wield short bows. Town centres, outposts, and everything give the attack speed bonus. Town centres fire twice as fast. Military ships have +1 range. That's not mentioned anywhere else, but that's pretty big bonus considering that there aren't a lot of range-increasing technologies in this game, including at the blacksmith, which surprised me, especially when the British are concerned. Now, influence. Farms built within the influence of a mill get their 15% faster gather speed, and then obviously we have the unique unit of a longbowman. But that's not the only unique unit they get. They also get the equivalent of an organ gun, which I think is only available to the English. So, I'm not sure why they only list one there, but we'll move on from that, because that goes back to the website where they didn't list all the unique units either. So, I don't like this tech tree. I find it very annoying. I have a pretty big screen. It's not 4K, it's Quad HD. But I don't like that I have to scroll up and down and up and down. I really like the Age of Empires 2 ones where you scrolled across and you had those lovely little boxes. And I can leave this collapsed or expand it. I'm going to leave it collapsed because I decided that expanded is just messy. But we'll just continue. Fine. So, Dark Age, you get your town centre, which is pre-built when you start the game. You can build villages, you can build scouts, and then in the Feudal Age you get an upgrade which increases the village's health. You can build your house, which is now an additional 10 population, not 5. I'm pretty sure in Age of Empires 2 it was 5, unless I'm very mistaken. Now it adds 10. Then you get the mill, which you can obviously drop food off at, and this has a variety of upgrades. Survival techniques, which increase how much hunted meat you can carry, and also the gather rate by 10%. And then in the Feudal Age, scouts gain the ability to carry animal carcasses and plus 200% damage against wild animals. That I hadn't seen before. That's pretty cool, though realistically by that time I'm probably building a lot of farms. Wheelbarrows, pretty standard technology that was in Age of Empires 2 as well. Improves the carry capacity of villagers by +5 and their movement speed by 15%, well worth picking up. From the Feudal Age onwards you get each age a 15% increased technology to villagers' gather rate for food. And then in the final age you get a unique English technology, which is each farm enclosure being worked by a villager generates 1 gold every 3.5 seconds. So you can have a gold income from farms. Whether that's enough to maintain an army, I'm not sure, but you're probably going to have quite a lot of farms as the English. Let's shrink that down again. Lumber camp. Okay, I think every civilization has forestry, which is a woodcutting technology. It doubles the rate at which villagers chop down trees. I don't think it takes villagers that long to cut down trees. I mean, I do often click on it to research it, but I don't know why it's there. I really don't. I'm not sure how much difference it really makes. Someone needs to investigate that and see if it makes a huge difference. I don't think it'll be me. I might have a look. And then you get your usual 15% for each age increase in gather rate for wood. Then at the mining camp, unlike Age of Empires 2, there is a single upgrade in the Feudal Age onwards for both gold and stone. It's a joint one, unlike Age of Empires 2 where they were separate, and some races got, or some civilizations I should say, got gold all the way up or just stone all the way up, or vice versa. Or both. You obviously get your farm, which is cheaper. It's 37 wood as the British. You can build your barracks, which you can build your vanguard man-at-arms. You don't get early spearmen though. You have to wait till you are in the Feudal Age for hardened spearmen, and obviously you can then upgrade to your early man-at-arms, which other people would be getting at that stage anyway. And then so on and so forth, though you do get a nice, unique to the English man-at-arms technology there, which increases the ranged and melee armor of the man-at-arms by +2. So that's quite a nice bonus. I mean, these are the mainstay of your infantry. You're going to be using longbowmen and man-at-arms, really. You get a dock, you know, it's got a fishing boat in the First Age, a transport ship, pretty standard. You get a trade ship in the Feudal Age, and a galley, which is your archers, basically, your archery ship. Then you get a hulk, which is your broadside ballista. You get a demo ship. A lot of the civilizations seem to get demo ships now. And obviously you get a carrack, which is your full broadside cannon ship. They all have their own advantages and disadvantages. So you don't necessarily just want a load of cannon ships. And obviously you have your usual upgrade technology for fishing, shipwrights to reduce the cost of ships by 10%. The fishing increases the gather rate and carry capacity. Navigator Lookout increases the sight range of military ships by 2 and the weapon range by 1. Now, that's a nice bonus because the British already get an additional 1 range, so that's pretty good. Additional sails increase your movement speed, armoured hull, extra ballista. You get chaser cannons for some of the warships. That just increases the weapon range of the warships again. And then explosives, which is increasing the damage of incendiary ships. So that's your explosive demolition ships. You get your palisade wall in Age 1, you get a palisade gate. Obviously the gates are new, I should say, from Age of Empires 2, though I believe they added those in the more recent expansions and editions, but the original didn't have a gate. And then you get your outpost. So the outpost is the equivalent to your watchtowers for Age of Empires 2. It's got no capacity to fire unless there are units inside it, but you can even put villages inside it and it will fire. You can then upgrade it from the Second Age onwards. You can either give it arrow slits, which will allow it to fire its own arrows, you can give it a spring gold emplacement, or you can give it a cannon in the Final Age. In the Feudal Age you can also fortify the outpost, which basically turns it into a watchtower made of stone. Then you get your 2 upgrades. These are the Age 2 landmarks, which will boost you up to the next stage. So building the Council Hall is the military landmark, and when you've finished it, you will get access to the longbowmen from this facility, and it has 100% production speed on longbowmen, so they will build twice as fast as they will at an archery range. And that's all it builds, and it has the upgrades for the longbowmen. So you've got set up camp, which will heal them 1 health every 1 second, and you can just activate that on one of them, and within an area of effect around them, all the longbowmen will heal. That does not apply to any other units. And also you get your arrow volley upgrade at the Final Age, which is obviously quite devastating to have an increase in attack speed by 70%. And I'm wondering if that stacks with what we have over there with the network of castles giving an additional 25% attack speed. If that stacks, that's devastating. The other one is the Abbey of Kings, which heals all nearby friendly units that are out of combat by 4 for every 1.5 seconds. You could very well build both of them, I suppose, if you wanted to. I've built the Council Hall so far because having the ability to build longbowmen that quickly is just fantastic. Simple as that. So the Feudal Age, you can build more town centres rather than the one you just start with, but we've already looked at that. You can also build the market, which allows you to build the trader. The trader can go to either another player's market, if they're your ally, or indeed you can go to one of the trading posts on the map, which is new to Age of Empires 4. They weren't in Age of Empires 2. And those are just places you can go in maybe a 1v1 game, or a free-for-all where you don't necessarily have an ally. Blacksmith is a bit boring in Age of Empires 4, so far anyway. We'll see what the other races or the other civilizations look like. So, the blacksmith, you have your melee and archery damage increase, or range damage increase, non-siege units specifically. You also get your melee and ranged armor improvements. You get your siege engineering, which just means that melee and ranged infantry can construct siege towers and battering rams in the field. Well worth the upgrade if you're planning to use a lot of those. I don't think I've bothered as yet, but maybe later in the game. And obviously you can also build and you can also research the military academy, which reduces the time it takes to produce infantry, cavalry, siege and transport units at buildings by 25%. Does not affect religious units or other support units though. But, you know, it's certainly worth picking up that one if you want to churn out troops at the end. You get your battering ram and your siege tower, which can be built by the infantry. I assume you can also build them with the villagers, but I haven't tried yet. But let's collapse that back down, just tidy things up. You've got your archery range. Now, I tell you what, I really am missing my skirmishers. I don't know if any of the civilizations get skirmishers in this game, but I'm really missing them from Age of Empires 2. Because, realistically, if you're playing as one of the other sides, you can't really do much to the longbowmen. I mean, the longbowmen are very powerful, especially if you micro them well. As you'll have seen in my 1v1, you're able to put down these palings to fend off cavalry charges, and they put them up pretty quickly. So if you see the cavalry charging at you, you can build them and they will pop up in the front of the cavalry, and then the cavalry get spiked by them, have to fight through them, while your longbowmen are firing at them from behind. You know, a little bit of micromanagement on your cavalry to go around behind them does help, but I don't know. I feel like the lack of skirmishers really means that archery units are very powerful. But you can build your longbowmen there, but obviously it's half as fast as the main building, the council hall. You get crossbowmen in the castle age, and you get hand cannoneers in the final age, the Imperial age. You get set up camp there, and you get volley of arrows, but we've already talked about those. And then you get a stable from the feudal age. You can build scouts there, you can build horsemen there, and then you get knights from the castle age onwards. You get stone walls, you get stone wall gates, and you get stone wall towers. So, unlike Age of Empires 2, where you build your towers behind the wall perhaps, or in front if you were feeling strange, you can actually build towers on the walls. And your troops can stand along the top of the walls in this game. And you can obviously garrison the towers, I believe, and you can also upgrade these with weapons. Ah yes, infantry can use the tower to access the top of the walls, so it counts as like a set of stairs to get on top of the walls as well. And it also gets the network of castles bonus, so it triggers the alarm when the enemy approaches, causing nearby units and defensive buildings to fire faster. So, you know, that's quite powerful for the English. And then you get your Age 3 upgrade buildings, the King's Palace, which is basically a town centre, and I'll just show you. It builds exactly the same stuff as a town centre. Obviously it has the ability to defend and fire arrows, but your other option is the defensive landmark, the White Tower, which is the one I've been building, which acts as a keep. And just to clarify, a keep is a castle. So in Age of Empires 4, they've just renamed keeps as, or castles as keeps. The reason for that is, I suppose, the castle is technically everything, including the keep and the walls and everything within the walls, whereas the keep is just that main building. So I guess it makes sense to call it a keep. But I'll just bring that down. Basically, what you can do here is your upgrades. So you can give it weapon upgrades, you can give it boiling oil, and you can give it the network of citadels upgrade, which is a further defensive bonus which increases the attack speed from 25 to 50%. That's a massive attack speed bonus for defending armies. Then in the Castle Age you can build a proper keep, which has exactly the same stuff. You can build a monastery, which has your monk. Herbal medicine increases the healing rate of religious units by 100%. You get piety, which increases their health. And then you get tithe barns, which are relics placed in a monastery, provide an income of 30 food, 30 wood, and 30 stone every minute. And you'll notice that with a few of the civilizations, if not all of them, there's a lot more emphasis placed on getting the relics. There's different bonuses available for that. But not as many upgrades as Age of Empires 2 for the monastery. Then you got your siege workshop. You can build your springald, your mangonel, your counterweight trebuchet. Then in the final age you can build your bombard and Reboldequin. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's an organ gun. Let's just call it an organ gun because that's what it is. Greased axles increases the movement speed. Siege engines move really slow. It's worth getting that upgrade. Roller shutter triggers, pretty standard. Just increase the springbolt, weapon range, and their reload time. Adjustable crossbars increase the reload time of mangonels. Siege workshops, or siege works, I should say, increases the health of siege engines by 20% and their range armor by 3. And then, unique to the English, which I don't think any of the other ones are there, are they? No. So unique to the English, trebuchet projectiles shatter on impact, increasing their area of effect. I can only assume that is for when you're firing at units. I'm not sure if that has a benefit. Does it hit multiple buildings? I didn't get to that stage in my 1v1, so I'm not sure. I need to play a game and actually test that. And then you get your Age 4 upgrade buildings. You get the Berkshire Palace, which is a defensive landmark, acts as a keep with all the behaviours, technologies, bonuses, and the Berkshire Palace has a 50% greater weapon range and double the number of arrow slits. So as a defensive building, that's going to be devastating. You know where I'll build that? If I was on the map that I played in the 1v1 where you have that big raised area in the middle with all of those extra resources, I would stick that up there because no one's going to get anywhere near it unless they've got siege weapons. And then the other option, which is a military landmark, is the Vanguard Palace. I think I'm pronouncing that right, the Vanguard Palace. Maybe, we'll see. Anyhow, that produces the Vanguard Army, which includes a man-at-arms, a spearman, a longbowman, a knight, and a trebuchet. Let me expand that. Just take that in for a moment. Vanguard Army, Mixed Force Army, costs 100 food, 100 wood, and 200 gold. For all of those units, that is a bargain. It takes 1 minute 15 to build. I think that's fantastic. I mean, the reality is you might not want that sort of makeup, but just to get all of those units and a trebuchet, I think that's well worthwhile. Just to get a trebuchet, basically, and then you get all the other units as a bonus. How much does a trebuchet cost? Let's have a quick look. 500 wood and 250 gold. And for 200 gold and 100 wood, you get the trebuchet and everything else. I mean, why wouldn't you? That's ridiculously good. Then, of course, you have the university. You get chemistry. Now, chemistry just increases the damage of gunpowder units. This isn't like chemistry in Age 2. It has nothing to do with flaming arrows. It has nothing to do with actually getting access to gunpowder units. You actually just get access to those. This is purely to increase the damage. Geometry, which increases the damage of rams and trebuchets, which is worth getting probably. Biology increases all the health of your cavalry. Incendiary arrows increases the damage of rage units and buildings by 20%. Does not apply to gunpowder units. Court architects increases the health of all buildings by 30%. And then elite army tactics, which increases the health of all melee infantry by 10% and their damage by 10%. And then your wonder, which is the Cathedral of St. Thomas. 3,000 of each resource across the board. That seems cheap, I don't know why. Apparently it takes 10 minutes to build. Or is that just that it takes 10 minutes to win once you built it? I think that's 10 minutes to win once you built it, because building time depends on how many people you've got on it. Well, it does say house takes 15 seconds. Is that just with one builder? I haven't timed that. I have to investigate. But that's the English in a nutshell. I mean, very similar to Age of Empires 2. With a few differences, a few less upgrades. A little disappointed they don't get an additional range upgrade for their archers. But in fairness, the longbowmen start with a ridiculous range, so, you know, they certainly outrange the competition. So, thanks very much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe. Stay tuned to the channel for a quick run through of the next tech tree.